Do you know what diphthongs are? Do you find it difficult to produce the sounds correctly? Well, in this lesson, I'm going to teach you 3 of the 8 sounds, how to pronounce them properly, and show you one of the most common mistakes people often make. So let's begin. First of all, a diphthong is a glide from one vowel to another, and the whole glide acts as one single syllable. For example, the diphthong in the word main has the symbol A, which glides from E to I. So the starting point, E, glides to the second sound, I, like this. A. A. Although there are 2 sounds in it, it is perceived as one sound, and therefore one syllable, not 2. So, if you compare the word men with main, men has the monophthong E, and main has the diphthong A. But both words have only one syllable, regardless of the glide in the sound of A. Generally speaking, in diphthongs, the first sound is slightly longer than the second sound and has more emphasis, like this. A. A. Main. Main. And the most common mistake is to use a long, simple vowel sound instead, like this. Men. Or even shorten it like this. Men. Which is completely confusing because the word men, being the plural of man, has a different meaning to the word you wanted to say, which is main. So I'm going to teach you how to glide, darlings. With this word main, I want you to glide from the first sound E, as in men, say men, and then add I after E, gliding smoothly from E to I, making the sound less loud as the glide progresses. A. A. This will give main. So now we know how to glide. Today we'll look at the sounds A, Oi, and I. But why these? Well, these are 3 of 5 diphthongs which are called closing diphthongs, and the glide towards the second sound is towards the closed vowel I. My next video will be on the other 2 closing diphthongs, O and Ow, so watch out for that one. Now let's start with A. Say these sounds separately. First like this, E and I. This glide begins in the mid-front place in the mouth. Say E. With the mouth slightly open like this. E. And end with a glide towards I. By closing your jaw at the end of the sound, like this. A. A. Try this out loud and notice what your tongue is doing. You should notice an upward movement of your tongue as your jaw closes. A. A. It sometimes helps if you smile when you say it. A. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you get it wrong. Believe it or not, this is actually quite helpful. When you get it wrong, it sounds like this. A. A. Can you hear I'm making the second sound I longer and stronger than the first? Well, this is wrong. Let's put the wrong sound in a word. Take. Take. The right way is this. A. The first sound is longer and stronger than the second. The second sound is unstressed. Then the word sounds like this. Take. You try it. Do it wrong and then do it right. Now, listen and practice the difference in these words out loud. The first word has the first monophthong e, followed by a similar sounding word with the diphthong a. Met, mate, let, late, pepper, paper, fell, fail. Okay? If not, go back and try again until it sounds right. Now let's move on to the diphthong oi. This glide begins in the mid-back place in the mouth. Say or and then I. Now join them smoothly with a glide like this. Oi. This gives the diphthong oi, as in the word boy. Notice that or changes to a shorter sound, or, when linked with I. So say it out loud like this. Oi. As usual, the first sound is slightly longer than the second and has more emphasis. Notice the lip movement goes from rounded to a slight smile and the tongue moves from forward to upward. Oi. Listen and practice these words out loud. The first word will have the monophthong or followed by a word with the diphthong oi. Here goes. Bore, boy, jaw, joint, tore, toy, more, moist. Happy with that? Good. Now the third diphthong is I. Again with I as its finishing point. Say starting at the low centre place in your mouth like this. Good. And now say I. Now join them with a glide like this. I. This gives you the diphthong I, as in the word sign. So I glides from the sound to I, like this. I. You might think this is a bit weird starting with the sound, but it is usually the best way of showing you how to make the sound of this diphthong, I. Listen and practice these words. The first word will be the monophthong and the second word will have the diphthong I. This will help you make the correct sound. Here goes. Sun, sign, done, dine, fun, fine, luck, like. When you practice these sounds, it's really helpful to do it using a hand mirror. Just watch the movements in your mouth as you do it. You can even try exaggerating the movement while listening to the sound. If anyone's around, just mime the diphthongs silently. Then watch yourself. Which sounds can you see? So, that's 3 of the 8 diphthongs down. If you liked this lesson, don't forget to share it with your friends, like and subscribe. Oh, and watch out for my next video on the last 2 closing sounds, O and ow. And don't forget to practice, 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 and practice. Love and peace.